Welcome to another episode of the Sound Sister Podcast, coming to you live from Mesa, Arizona. I'm your host with the most, Drea Doll, aka Dre Wow. With my lovely ladies. Say hello, ladies.
Hi, it's Angela Rose Red.
G-Baggy.
Yeah, chaos. On this episode, we're going to be talking to Billy Skelly, owner of 99% Magazine, King Rock Photography, and all-around badass.
Yay.
He also does a lot of the fat record bands, which is really cool, and he gets to tour with them, and those are goals right there.
Yeah.
Hashtag goals.
Hashtag goals. Hashtag dreaming. But we're going to be talking to him later in the episode, getting to know him, where he's from, what he's doing, what he's working on, all that good stuff. But right now, we're going to kick into our roundtable. So I'm going to go over to my right-hand man, my right-hand lady. Angela, what's going on with you?
Angela Rose Red. Oh, wait, I already introduced myself. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew. Edit that. Just kidding. Yeah, I had an awesome weekend. I went to Vegas. Vegas.
nice.
Right. Yeah. I was photographing a wedding that was ordained by Elvis himself. It was actually a really, really fun wedding. And just a little throwback to the groom who got married, Jay Tulsa. He's from All City Boot Boys, or used to be, for those of you Tempe punks out there. You might remember him. Him and Amy, congratulations to you guys. But yeah, that was one of the funnest weddings besides my own that I went to.
Sweet.
It was great. Yeah, I pretty much, met him through photographing his band over the years and just going to shows. And so I got a free Vegas trip out of the deal, and it was a lot of fun. So, but what was cool about it it's been a while since I've been on the new strip, and that's where they had gotten married, and they put us up at the MGM. So
tight.
Yeah. I mean, normally, it's the past couple of trips, it's been punk rock bowling focused, I did meet Miss Fremont Street for sure, but
Yeah.
it was cool to like change it up a little bit, and there was one in particular bar that was pretty fun that we went to, and it's called Rock Rellies. I don't know if you guys been there. It's right off of the strip, and it's this Irish pub-ish kind of thingamajig. It's a little bit corporate, but it was still pretty cool. What I loved about it is that all around the bar, there was these infamous music photography that was all framed. Some of my favorite photos that has inspired me ever since I could remember. And they included an eye patch with a shamrock on each of the images, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's like a great way to display iconic music photography, but yet do some marketing in there. So yeah. I don't know. I just really dug it. It reminded me a lot of this exhibition that I went and saw back in 2012 in LA that was called Who Shot Rock and Roll. I don't know if you guys heard of that.
No.
That was life-changing. Cool. So basically, it was this traveling exhibition. Of course, somehow I missed it when it was in Tucson. So yeah. We're going on a road trip, and we're going to stop at this exhibition. And it was in the Annenberg Space for Photography. And basically, all the infamous music photography was there. So I saw, like, the original Penny Smith cover version of, like, London Calling, that Clash.
Smashing the guitar?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Yeah,
and then you see like the stories behind it. There was documentaries that were going on throughout the whole time. So lots of stuff like Black Flag, even like Snoop Dogg, some of his cover artwork photography. But what was really cool about it is Penny Smith, if you guys aren't familiar with her work, I mean, she traveled with, of course, The Clash, Rolling Stones, Debbie Harry, lots of different bands, but she was doing this in the 60s when, for one, concert photography and journalism wasn't a thing, and for two, females to go on the road with all these different type bands, that wasn't very common.
Right.
And so
if you were going on the road, you were a groupie.
Yeah, and she was a badass, and on top of it, she did old school film. So that in itself, to do with concert lighting, is insane. So it was really cool to go into that bar and just kind of see some of these photos that, I remember seeing that in this exhibition, but the real versions of it. But in some ways it was, you can tell they were doing it to also educate people of just different icons. So,
That's
Joan
really
Jett,
cool.
David Bowie. I mean, the list goes on. So maybe we'll include in this episode's visual gallery some of my snapshots from there, because I kind of went drunk and crazy taking some photos of photos. So that's pretty much what I have going on.
Do you have any like crazy Vegas stories to share?
What happened?
Do you have any hangover moments?
Actually, it's pretty chill, because we got there and I had 3 hours sleep. I couldn't really sleep, night before any sort of big trip. I was counting my list, checking it twice, looking at my gear, making sure it was all there. Plus, and so I went there, photographed it. I got to take all the fun photos, so I got to follow the couple around and take all of just like fun photos in the casino and everything else. But all of the main hardcore photos were done through the chapel. So, I mean, I feel like I got the raddest deal ever, because it was just all around fun. And so the next day, got to hang out. And we went to Wahlburgers.
Oh,
yeah, Wahlburgers. That was some good. Tried White Castle. Yep, tried that too. That's right, multiple burgers. In one day, I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're going to totally cleanse when you get home, because this is a lot of meat. My husband won $200, and then I got a generous tip from the groom. So again, it was pretty much a free Vegas trip. So
Sweet.
Nice.
anything else stays in Vegas.
Oh.
And my husband's mind.
Oh.
Just put it that
Well.
way.
Oh, okay. Somebody gonna get pregnant.
Damn.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Oh, that's cool. Sounds fun. I remember Jay from Yucca. Great guy.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. So.
Yeah.
Always had my back when I was a Palo bartender, and just all around good dude. Which, backtracking a little bit, thinking about the Clash, the cover of London Calling, that infamous photo, Penny Smith many times has said how much she can't look at that photograph anymore, because to her there's so many other photos she finds that are more technically sound, which I think, I mean, come on, Gabby, do you feel the same way too, that some people use certain photos of yours or images, you're like, come on, there's better stuff, why are you using that?
I'm not that famous yet.
I mean, for me, it's like just Instagram photos. I'm like, why did you use that Instagram photo and not the other one? No, but anyways, back to that cover photo. Apparently, there's hidden silhouettes of dogs in there if you look closely. Yeah, I'll point it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Take a look.
I like that picture is kind of a tribute to Elvis's
Yes.
first record album.
Yes.
Well, I mean, as far as like the color of the font and where the font is, but
Yes.
I still think it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
that they did that.
Yeah, they reference that too when they talk about the image. I guess it was the bass player. He thought the way he worded it was, I mean, everyone did okay during the show, but I was a little disgruntled of how it went, and instead of picking up my backup bass, I decided to start thrashing on my main bass. And in retrospect, he thought it was a bad idea. So, I mean, that was what was so magical about that exhibition, is just all the stories behind the photos, and just seeing, all the tour tales. And I hope to hear some today from talking to Billy. So it'll be good.
That's cool, man. Well, it sounds like you had a good weekend.
I did. Much awesome. Relaxed.
Good.
So.
Nice.
Gabby, how's it going?
Gabby.
Good.
Gabby.
Beep, bop, boop, boop, boop.
Had a good weekend. A lot of recording, and then dealing with a car driving through my fence.
Dude,
What?
I fucking saw that.
In the absolute fuck.
Did you not see my fence?
Dude, I seriously went off the grid for a while, but I guess I was just concerned about, I didn't look at the fence.
Yeah, there's a big hole in the fence.
Damn, Gabby.
She didn't see the video?
No, because I've been, like I said, I barely started logging into my accounts today, because I was trying really to enjoy my vacation, which I don't normally do.
Person backed up, hit the pedal, drove over my fence, broke my fence, the neighbor's bush, and then fucking rammed it out of here.
Damn.
So now we have a broken fence that we need to fix.
Were they doing like a pickup or something?
Yeah.
An illegal pickup?
I mean,
did they have insurance?
I've been told to not mention the people, but yeah, there were some of the neighbors' friend, and so they're paying for the fucking fence,
well, that's good. That's good.
But it's another hassle project that now we have to do.
Well, let's skip back to the recording because I've been dying to ask you about this for the past like day or two, but I try really hard not to talk to you before the podcast. So it's a secret.
Not really.
Keep it secret.
Kinda, maybe. I don't know yet.
Well, you've been talking about doing acoustic stuff for a really, really long time. So I was really stoked just to see. I mean, you're just like throwing out there left and right things that you've been wanting to do.
Right.
Within this past 2 months.
Yeah,
it's not like, man. This past year. No, she's doing this shit in 2 months, starting a podcast, doing my solo project. Like it's fucking inspiring, man.
It's all I got is time, so might as well fill it. But yeah, I'm just doing my acoustic recordings for now. And I've actually I'm still in the works of booking studio time in December.
Nice.
To do like my own songs that have been hanging around for like 10 years, and it's like might as well put them out because no one else will. So.
For sure.
Might as well. I mean, look at Elvis.
Right.
He brings it to the band. If the band doesn't like it, fuck it. I'm
Right.
just gonna fucking record it and put it out.
Yeah. So the acoustic actually sounds really good in here. From here, had a drummer come in. He'd lay down tracks, only 4. So I'm still in the mixing parts, but it's been fun.
That's
So-
cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
We'll see.
So who's the drummer that you're working with?
His name is Ty Breedlove. I don't know where he's from, but just met him.
He's from drum heaven.
I think he is.
He actually seemed pretty legit when I was seeing some of the Insta stories.
Yeah, he loves Alkaline Trio as much as I do, so
There you go.
we get that same vibe and
There you
like
go.
the same style of music. So I was like, "Yep, you're it. It's time."
So when you write, because you have written for the Pinks and some of your other projects too, are there some that you're like, nope, this one's definitely gonna be acoustic, or are you like, yeah, this one might be pinkish, venomous pinkish?
Yeah, I mean that new one I sent you, that one's on the verge of if I keep it or pink it out.
Right, I like it. Pink it out.
So
You should coin that
we'll
term.
See. Maybe
Pink it out.
Yeah,
we'll
pink it out, yo.
Yeah, for sure.
Pink it out.
For sure.
I had a good weekend, other than the fence.
Yeah.
Now the dogs can't go to the front yard. So.
Well, no, the good thing is nobody was hurt,
True.
and the dogs weren't in the yard.
And
True.
someone's paying
So-
for it.
I hope so. Otherwise, kind of angry Mexican going over there. I wasn't up front, so otherwise there would have probably been cops called because I would have flipped out.
Right.
You went
But-
with Chihuahua mode.
I would have gone Chihuahua mode.
Yeah.
I hear that.
It's just a fence, like it
Right,
fits.
right.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
Didn't hit no cars.
Yeah, exactly.
So, whatever.
Cool. Yeah. Well, it sucks about your fence, dude.
Yeah.
But,
Rest
we
in
can't.
peace, fence.
We will rebuild.
we
we
will
will
rebuild.
build-
We will be rebuild.
I will build that fence to keep people out of my yard.
That's the only fence we're building. Over here. The only wall.
What's going on with you, Dre?
Yeah,
Wow.
what's up, dude?
I went to a burlesque show on Friday at the All One House on Roosevelt. Have you been there?
No.
Really cool, super old house. They use it as a gallery for
Wait.
First Fridays.
How did they name the venue then?
All One. It's
Sorry, that was my
AL
lame.
It's spelled weird. It's spelled like ALWUN. So all one, like, but we're all one community.
So they are being clever with it. I
Yeah,
see.
for sure,
I see.
for sure.
Okay.
But they have like a little like stage in the backyard, total lighting system, sound system back there. So I went and saw a burlesque show.
No, but
Suicide
it was cool. This girl was hanging from chain ropes. There was a pole dance at one point. All female run. So I feel like we should bring them in and talk to them about it because it was really cool.
Are they local?
They're local.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the thing is I had no idea we had something like that in Phoenix.
Interesting. I know there's so many different sub scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah,
Outside of just the music community.
Yeah,
Right.
no. If you guys get a chance, go check out Cleodora Presents on Instagram, and you can see pictures of their performers, and maybe we'll get them in here one day and get to talk to them.
Was that your first time seeing like a Suicide Girl show?
Like that, yeah.
Yeah. I saw one once at some crazy venue, but this was back in like early 2000s or something. And
yeah.
It was very, very, it was cool.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. That was when it was a lot of performance was involved. So
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. It was still burlesque, but it was more performance at that point. So it's interesting to see
Yeah.
how those shows evolve too. So
It was a mixture. I would
Nice.
say it was a good mix of burlesque and then There was a girl
Body
swallowing. Oh, there was she swallowed a sword at one point. I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
I love that. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I don't know if you guys ever heard of like the Venice Beach freak
Oh,
show.
well, I've seen the show
Yeah,
on TV. Yeah,
and I went to go see it, and there was just some amazing performances. They're no longer on Venice Beach anymore, but they will rebuild as
They
well.
will rebuild. Yeah, no. After that, we went to Club Palazzo. I don't know if you ever went to Transylvania's on Friday, every first Friday. Did you ever go?
No, I never went.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to go back in the day when my goth lunchbox days, I was allowed to do that. I could only dream of bats and Transylvania night. But
every third Friday of the month they're doing something similar to Transylvania. It's called Necrotech though.
Okay.
And same fucking thing, dude. Just
same peeps.
Probably the same fucking people that were at Transylvania, just a little bit older. But yeah, that was cool. And yeah, other than that, that was it, really.
Sounds like we all had a fun-filled weekend, all three of us apart.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, let's head on into the punk rock news segment here. First on the list, we want to say happy birthday, Joan Jett.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
She's such a babe.
60 years old.
Jeez.
Turned 60, but happy birthday. Just a reminder, Bad Reputation premieres on 9/26 at select theaters. Make sure you check it out. I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait. I love Joan Jett. She's like, like I said, if we ever play with her, I retire. I am done. Let's talk about the new music from the Distillers that was released, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I wanted to give some time for us to kind of digest it and listen to it. I feel that people have this expectation of a band to always have the same sound.
Yeah.
And in this retrospect, who she was with at the time for those first 2 albums, I feel like he was very much a part of the writing process, which you can tell. It's very punk rock and in your fucking face. Mm-hmm. Her newer stuff, you can tell it has some Josh Homme on it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. As far as these 2 songs, it doesn't sound, quote, like the Distillers, but I feel we need to give bands a break sometimes because they do mature and progress as musicians.
Right.
And
it's been like 10 years,
they're not going to be,
years?
we're not going to be into the same shit that maybe we were into when we were 24 or whatever.
But it's okay not to like the new stuff if you're not
into it. That's fine too. I think out of the both of them, I liked Blood Gutters better than
that was my favorite
than Man vs. Magnet.
Yeah, you were talking about earlier about the video and how awesome it was to see old concert footage.
And to think, well, fuck, this is like the end of the fucking Distillers in these videos. If you think about it, like what was going on back then. Maybe some drug use and just spiraling a little bit.
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like 18-year-old me appreciated that video because I was so into them at the time that Curl Fang album dropped or whatever, and it was just cool to see footage from back then.
Nice. You went and saw the Distillers, right, when they came out here?
Yeah, we did.
That was awesome. You blinked and you didn't get tickets. But
exactly. That shit sold out in minutes.
Like
8 minutes or something like
seconds,
that.
Wasn't it?
Wasn't there?
It was crazy.
I think it was like 7 minutes. It sold out.
Yeah.
I also saw at one of the Distiller shows in LA. Wasn't Courtney Love hanging out with Lana Del Rey and like all these other musicians were all there?
What
just
the fuck?
Hidden in the crowd. I'll have to do a little bit of research there, but
you have to pull that image up.
A friend of a friend of a friend caught a pic in the pit, so continue on your news and I will let you know.
What the fuck? Well, I mean, it's LA.
Yeah.
If Courtney Love is there, then Courtney Love's there. I don't know. That's kind of random, but Jesus Christ. No, that makes sense because I saw a fucking Courtney Love joke about Distillers and I didn't get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it drug related?
No, I think I saw something that she went to a show and I was like, didn't really think twice about it, but that makes sense if she went to the show. the Casualties' new single 1312. They dropped their music video.
See.
He fucking sings Spanish on it, which I thought
yeah.
was cool. I like it. I have high hopes for this new album.
Yeah.
That album drops on October 26th. It's called Written in Blood on Cleopatra Records. Looking forward to that one. I fucking liked 1312. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah.
It was a good song, and it's crazy because The Casualties has one of my first main photography experiences that I still can't remember. There's this guy that one of his bands opened for, and this was back when digital DSLRs weren't.
Oh, okay.
They were a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
I was still rocking my point and shoot, my phone camera and stuff, and then I somehow got in, and it was just huge crowd once The Casualties came on. It was at the clubhouse, so I want to say,
Oh, shit.
Damn.
so I want to say what 2005,
At
something
least
ish
in that era.
Yeah, in that
2005,
era.
2006.
And
yeah.
I just remember it was packed, and I was trying, 5'2.5" of me is trying to lift up in the air this crazy digital camera that I loaned from a friend, praying to all the gods and goddesses that this shit doesn't, land on the floor.
Yeah.
And there's this big burly dude and of course I'm rocking this show solo, and there's big burly dude from back's like, hey, do you want to boost? And I'm like, what? And then I look around, and back then I was a lot more smaller, and he hoisted me up on top of these stacks of all these different amps. And I just remember on top of like these amps with like a sea of people photographing. And
That's awesome.
What?
it was insane. It was fucking
You gotta find those
insane. And
pictures.
I was never the same since. And then I went to go look at the photos. This was like my first time photographing outside of a digital point and shoot, or attempting to with my film camera, and of course none of it came out. But that memory is burned in my mind.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, it was insane.
rad.
Yeah, I
Damn.
just saw, you want to boost? I'm like,
You
fuck
want a
yeah.
boost?
And then he
Okay.
just like lifted me like I wasn't anything, and it was insane. It was, but the camera was fine. So
Damn, dude.
yeah.
Up next, we've got. So you can't make this shit up. I thought it was a Hard Times headline when I first read it. So I'll read it to you guys. Star Trek's William Shatner is going to release a Christmas album called Shatner Claus.
We don't give no Shatner.
The Christmas album. Shatner Claus, the Christmas album. That's also October 26th. So we've got the Casualties and William Shatner's album, both dropping on Cleopatra Records.
Huh.
It features guest spots from artists all over the world, including Iggy Pop, who does a rendition with Shatner of Silent Night,
Wow.
and Henry Rollins with a rendition of Jingle Bells. And not just Jingle Bells, they labeled it punk rock Jingle Bells. I listened to it today, and
This does sound like a Hard Times.
man, you do yourself a favor, go to Rolling Stone, type in William Shatner, and listen to Jingle Bells with Henry Rollins and William Shatner. You will not be disappointed.
Oh, okay.
It's
You
So
can't make this up, dude.
It's everything you
Can't
could
make
wish
it up,
for
man.
and more. I mean, I do wish that the jingling of the bells was not so loud, so I could hear more Henry in it. But it's like I need to hear him jingling along. Yeah, it was pretty. It was, yeah. I'm going to be definitely rocking that come December.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Weird.
Right, but it's one of
It is
those that
weird.
it's a conversation piece.
Hey,
I mean, you know what I mean?
Have you heard this song called with Jingle
Have you
Bells?
heard this, Shatner?
William Shatner.
Damn. So when do we start doing Christmas songs?
Jesus.
Pink Skull Christmas.
God.
Pink Full Christmas.
It's a pink Christmas.
Yeah, there you go. Instead of white, we'll have pink. Yeah.
There you go.
Man.
You're welcome. Why am I not your manager yet?
I don't know. We had one of those at one point.
Oh,
All right.
manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Your vinyl pick of the week comes from you from Gabby Chaos. Gabby sent this to me. Newberry Comics exclusive is putting out Operation Ivy's Energy album, limited to 500 copies
I got
on
one.
white vinyl. and it's going for $25.99.
I had to go ahead and get it.
Did you got it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta fucking treat yourself and bite the bullet,
I'm
dude.
gonna trip myself.
Yeah.
So I did.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously hate it, right? Because with the podcast name Sound Sisters,
right?
We fucking hate it, right?
Right.
Come on. I mean,
Right.
Op Ivy. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we're gonna have Billy Skelly up with the Q&A with us. We're gonna get to know him and talk to him.
Getting to know you.
Let's do a music break. What do you guys want to listen to? We've got a couple of choices here. We can play a fucking Distiller song. We can go into that Casualty song, or we could do fucking Jingle Bells. I don't care either way.
That's a tough one. Do love the Casualty ones though. But
Let's do the Casualties.
All right. Here we go with.
I kind of want Jingle Bells though.
I know, right?
You know what? Fuck it. We're playing Jingle Bells.
Let's do that one. I gotta hear this one.
All right. Right here on the Sound Sister podcast, here's William Shatner featuring Henry Rollins with Jingle Bells.
Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. We got into a drifted bank, and then we got upset. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one horse open sleigh. Now the ground is white, go it while you're young. Take the girls tonight and sing the sleighing song. Just get a bobtail bay, 240 as a speed. Hitch him to an open sleigh, and crack, you'll take the lead. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one horse open sleigh. Oh, forget it. You have had too much eggnog.
Oh, man.
What in the absolute jingle fuck just happened? Jingle fuck.
Shit. Well, there were a lot of bells during that Henry Rollins part.
Jingle bells.
So for the one person that might still be listening after that music break, thanks for sticking it through.
Yeah.
Because we got a hell of a guest.
Oh, man.
We
All
do.
right. We're going to talk to Billy Skelly here on the Sound Sister podcast.
I think that kicked you in the jingle bells.
I can't even think. I
You
can't.
can't. You don't know how to process.
Yeah. All right, you guys, give it up for Billy Skelly.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, how's it going, dude?
How's everyone doing?
Apparently pretty good.
We're just mowing over here, having
Yeah.
a good time. No, thanks for coming, dude. When we first started the podcast, you were at the top of the list of people
shit.
I wanted to interview. So.
Yes.
That's fucking rad.
So,
I'm honored.
Well, we're honored to have you here. Maybe we could start out by you just introducing yourself and just what it is that you do.
My name's Billy Skelly. A lot of people know me as Billy Beans. I own King Rock Photo and 99% Magazine. I've been a photographer for the last 10 years. I think that's mostly how people know me, I guess. Yeah.
Just killing the scene.
I guess. I'm on hiatus right now.
Yeah, you're on like a Facebook break, or what are you doing?
Oh
dude?
yeah, I'm done with Facebook, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've been hovering back in a little bit.
What's going on? Why'd you take a break, man? What
I don't know,
happened?
people are just fucking annoying, man. You know? This whole Trump thing, like I just hate arguing about it every fucking day.
And you can't stand by while idiots are being idiots.
Oh, I can't, dude. I just can't. It's not in me.
No, yeah, I get it. Mental breaks are good. So
You should listen to some music called punk rock then.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
It's so surprising.
It totally helps.
No, that's awesome. I have to say that you are, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the show, but you are one of my favorite photographers. But funny thing is I didn't know you, but I knew your images for a really long time. And it actually all started when I hopped on the Girl Gang tour, right? Referencing that again. And my husband, Rico, was like scrolling on who was going to be at the Tempe show and was like, uh-oh, Angela, jokingly, Billy Skelly is going to be is on tour with Bad Cop. You should just stop right now. And I was like, who the fuck? And then I looked and I straight up stalked your page. And then I was like, he's shot all these favorite photos of mine and the Interrupters cover album. And I seriously was for about a good half an hour. I'm like, I'm not fucking going. I'm not going. I'm not doing this. No. Why am I going when Billy Skelly's going to be there? Look at this shit. It's amazing. But I seriously was freaking out, bugging. But no, it was really cool to get to know you and just talk shop with you and everything. So
that was such a rad tour. Everyone was so cool.
it should have been longer than it was.
Yeah, I agree.
And you went on tour with Bad Cop, so that wasn't your first time going on tour with them, right?
It was my second time, and I didn't really go like with them. I just kind of like, I don't know, from afar, you know,
stalked them.
Totally. We took different vehicles and stuff like that, so it wasn't like I wasn't like with them, but I did like, I did ask them if I could go with them, if I could follow them around on tour, so. Yeah.
Well, and also mad props to the new issue of 99% Magazine that's called Chicks Rule. Rule. It's pretty awesome. I can't believe I'm in some of the photos. I was like, what? That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, you took some good photos on that tour too. You got better the group photos, I think.
Stop it. Go on. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I think I was trying to sneak around. I think I got like the side photo from your photo.
Yeah, it was cool, and it was completely different angle, and that's the beauty of concert photography, right? I mean, you sit there and you think, oh, I have the same shot as this person, but it's not. It's completely different.
Totally. And the worst is when you see a photo and you think it's yours, and then you're like, oh, shit. Like, that's not mine at all, Or like you'll see someone else post it, and you're like, oh, okay, I was standing right next to that person.
Right.
Like getting the same photos, so.
The worst is when you're like sitting there with all your gear and you're all stoked on the shot. You get that, you're like anticipating the next move, and then you get it and you're stoked. And then by the end of the night, through hashtag searches, you see the same person who stood behind you via cell phone took it and posted it already. And the band shares it.
Yeah. Oh, dude. That
and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
That always sucks, man. When the band shares other people's photos, you're like, oh.
So for those listeners, what are you mind telling us some of the bands that you've gone on tour with and photographed? Just kind of give us a rundown.
Like Bad Cop, this cool band called Venomous Pinks I got to see. What's cool is I got to see them. I saw them at Punk Rock Bowling, and I was like, dude, that band is badass, dude. And then I didn't know they were on tour with Bad Cop, and that was like a pleasant surprise.
Oh,
That's
nice.
always the best, is when you go on tour and then like you get to meet all the bands and they're fucking rad, you know. But
Go on.
Let's see, Interrupters I've gone with, The Last Gang. That was probably the longest tour I've been on. That was like the most fun too. Like we went from like California to Philadelphia and then back. So
Okay, how long was that?
What's up?
How long was that tour?
It was like 2 weeks. Yeah, that's cool. It was for the Punk and Drublic tour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did they have you doing like roadie stuff too, like carrying amps and shit?
I did.
Yeah.
They weren't like carry my shit or anything like that, you know. But
Billy, watch the merch.
yeah, no, like they didn't even have a merch thing. Like they had they had people do it for the the Punk and Drublic stuff.
Yeah.
So
Right on.
that was pretty cool. They had like Fat Records came out and like did all their like merch. So that was badass, dude.
And you're married as well.
Yeah.
I know we talked about that on tour, how our significant others just insist on we do this kind of work. Like they're excited about it. Let's talk a little bit about that dynamic between you and your wife and all the projects you do.
Yeah, my wife's a school teacher in South Central Los Angeles. So she's kind of like Dangerous Minds kind of thing.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
do it, Drea. When I walk through the valley of That's right. You didn't know, did you, Billy? You didn't know.
No, but she's super encouraging. She's helped me get wherever I've gotten, you know. I wouldn't be like half as good as I am without her help and all that. So
that's awesome.
yeah. And she's always, of course she's encouraging me. She like loves the bands, you know? So it's like,
yeah.
Hey, I got tickets. You want to go with me to the face-to-face show? Yeah, fuck yeah, I do. You know, it's like, that's always cool.
So I have a whole gang of list of questions to ask you, but I'm going to I know Drea's got some things she wants to talk to you about too.
Yeah. How did it end up that you're working with a lot of these bigger bands? Did you have to move yourself up?
Shoot your way to the top.
Did you shoot your way to the top, bro?
We're so punny tonight.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I started off like just shooting. I used to actually manage bands. I managed this band called Domestic Fury, like back in the day. It was like a 3-piece ska punk band. And so I kind of like, started managing them and taking their photos and doing press kits and promos and like really shitty videos. Like I listened to Angela talk about like on your guys' podcast about like all the past work she's done and she hates it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. That makes me feel better because some of the photos I took last week, no, I'm just kidding.
But I started
in a
off like kind of small, and then I, like worked my way up. Voodoo Glow Skulls kind of gave me a shot, and then you just start talking to bands, and then it's a long road though. It was a long fucking road to get where I've gotten. So.
And how long have you been doing it?
For like 10 years.
Okay.
A little bit more than 10 years. I've been taking photographs my whole life. Like I was the friend that had like the disposable camera or whatever and would always like document everything we did, or video camera or whatever you have, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to hear that from photographers, because you hear similar stories from musicians. I've somewhat played music my whole life, but I feel the same way too. I was always like, we need to document this, we need to get together and take photos, and I noticed that there's so many photos that I'm not in growing up, because I took them, and I'm so fucking weird when I take photos.
I can't stand being in photos.
Ask these girls, they want to kill me every week when we try to take a promo photo. It's just ridiculous. So I actually have a question for you on how. Do you have any advice for any up and coming like photographers who want to get into concert photography?
Like to get into concert photography, that's a lot easier than I'd say like trying to be like an artist photographer. I would first thing I would do is not listen to anybody on YouTube. Like, fuck all those YouTube photographers. Those dudes are just like, those are the people that like didn't make it, you know? Like, that's how I feel. Like, they didn't make it and they're like trying to make a name for themselves. So they're like, I'm going to put my shit on YouTube and act like I'm somebody, you know?
And I'm going to take some money.
And then, like, I think I just get a camera and go do it. Like, I mean, you need a good camera for concert photography. That's the shitty thing, is because it's a lot of low light. And cameras they do shitty in low light unless you have like a flash, and you're not supposed to use a flash.
Unless you're Angela, who just fucking does it anyway and pisses everyone off.
You're that person.
Well, remember I rock 2 different like body setups. So when I know they're about ready to jump, then I hurry up and sneak one in, and then I take the other one. I need to get better lenses, but that's kind of what I do, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think it's cool. Like, I think it's like almost two different kind of it's definitely 2 different styles for sure, you know, like the flash and without it. But yeah, I used to rock the flash too, and then I would go to a Voodoo Glow Skull show, and then I'd talk to like Eddie afterwards, and he'd be like, I couldn't see a fucking thing the whole time. He's like, you were just like annoying me the whole show.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Not only that, but like other photographers too trying to get shots. They're just like,
true.
what are you doing, you know?
It's true, and it's like total novice shit too. There's certain videos that I see of shows, and I'm like, oh, there I am, stage right. Oh, now I'm in stage left. Oh, now I'm in back. Oh, now I'm pissing off the drummer. Cool. I've definitely calmed that shit for sure.
Yeah, I think because one of the best parts of being to be better at like photojournalism, like the less you're known, like being there. Like some of the best shots I've gotten to, like a lot of people would say, they're like, I didn't even know you were at that show. And I don't know what that has to do with it, but
no, that's really good advice. Thank you for that. Yeah, and that's also another thing too. When I first met you, I was super nervous because there's a lot of times where I try to talk shop with other photographers, and they look at your gear and your getup, and there's always going to be somebody that's better than you. There's always going to be somebody that's worse than you. And I feel that there's a lot of pretentious, pompous dickheads. Female and males, right? So many. Yeah. And you're one of the first people that like legit talked to me about some specifics. And I really, really appreciate that. And I know you did the same thing with Gabby. And so, you just kind of like laid it all out, because a lot of times people don't want to give secrets because, you're gonna take it away. So with all these upcoming DIY podcasts and magazines, I mean, us included, you know, photographers, do you believe it's more of a competition thing, or do you believe it's more of a community? Or
it's 100% competition. Like if you think it's some kind of community, which I do, you know, like I love going to the shows. I love talking to people. I love talking about camera stuff. Like when you were asking me camera stuff, I was like, oh, this is so rad. I could do this like all night. Like fuck the bands right now. Like let's just talk like camera
I
stuff.
know. We had to like remind ourselves that we were at a show photographing. We're like, oh wait, we gotta go shoot some bands now. Let's go do that.
Yeah, totally. No, but it's totally a competition. I mean, like you said, like even when you walk up to the photo pit, that's the first thing people look at is your camera and your gear and like all that. And it's fucking weird, man. It's so weird, but it's just like being in a band. Like you are competing, whether you want to or not. But it's like I just saw the Distillers the other night, and I didn't even know who the opening band was, and it was Starcrawler. And honestly, like Starcrawler just blew them out of the fucking water. I was like, fuck, I don't even need to see the Distillers now. Like, but
Damn.
I mean, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be a competition. And when I was in a band, like that's why I got out of the band, because our band was like, we need to compete every night. And I'm like, that's fucking lame, dude, you know?
So do you feel that being a musician has made you a better photographer? Because I know Rico has given me tons of advice, and so have these ladies, from a musician's perspective. So you kind of have a leg up on some stuff then.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, just getting to hear like the perspective from the bands too. Like you know how to talk to the bands now, because you kind of know what you kind of know like the lingo and shit. You know, you're like, oh, the bass. You're talking about a bass amp or whatever, and like how much room you have or whatever. You know, on the stage right, stage left, or whatever. You know, like you just know the lingo. You know how to talk to the band, like way better, and that definitely gives you like a leg up. You know. And then like here, like, and then you like that gives you a leg up talking to the band, and communication I feel is like one of the most important things. And a lot of the bands will tell you like, oh, I don't like this shot, I don't like that shot. Like I like to see what it's like for like our view.
Yeah.
So like they don't even really like the shots of them most of the time. Like they like you know the stage shots a lot. So it's like it's kind of weird sometimes. It all depends. So
I remember the first time I went on stage to take the infamous behind the drummer photo.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was on the marquee stage. I don't know if you know, in Arizona, and it was like packed. I don't know. I almost shit myself, and I'm like, I'm gonna accidentally trip on a chord and fuck something up. Luckily, I didn't, and the band still shares that photo to this day. So I don't know. I guess it worked out. That's always my fear, that I'm gonna trip over something.
Completely. You're like, I'm gonna ruin the whole show.
Yeah.
You're gonna step one way and like you just hear the power go down. And
right.
That's how they'll know your name.
Yeah. They're like, fucking Angela Rose Red, that dick.
I'm always waiting for that moment to happen. I feel like it's gotta happen sometimes.
She shut the power down.
Well, you know what? If that ever happens to you, Billy, which I doubt it will, I'll still be in the comment. I love you, Billy.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Good. I'm glad there's one person. Yeah. These girls won't say that. They'll kill me because it'll probably be their show. So, do you work with other mediums, or is it just mainly photography? Are you doing other artistic projects, or
I started
what you
out
got
painting.
going on?
Like I was painting for a long time and drawing a lot of did like a lot of drawing my whole life. And then I started getting into painting, and then I was like, fuck, I hate painting. And then I think I kind of like took the next step into like photography, and I was like, okay, like stop fucking with painting altogether. I was like, I'm never going back. Like, fuck that shit.
See,
like,
and
it's a long process, you know, like it's such a long thing, and it's like takes forever to master. Photography was just like, I don't know, for some reason it just came so easy. So I'm like, and it's just easy. Like I could seriously just grab my camera, go walk outside, take a photo, and I'm done. A painting will take me like a week, you know? That shit's, and like even coming up with like what am I gonna do? You know, like just coming up with ideas is a fucking pain in the ass. So it's like photography, I'll just walk outside and I'll get something cool, you know?
See, and I started taking photos because I couldn't draw or paint. You're not allowed to be good at all this, Billy. Come on. I was a musician. I was all this stuff.
I'm definitely not good at painting.
Yeah. What were you listening to in high school? Like, how did you get into punk rock?
High school is when I discovered punk rock. Like my friend, I had like a neighbor that would listen to it a lot. And I was listening to like whatever was on the radio. I listened to a lot of oldies growing up. And I used to listen to like a lot of radio. Like I would have my radio on constantly. I would call radio stations like every hour and like ask for songs, you know, like constantly. And then when I got into high school, my friend was like, dude, you should listen to this shit. And I was like, fuck you, dude. And he was like, no, dude, you'll like it. And I was like, no, I don't like this shit. And then I don't know what happened, but like he just kept playing it. And I was like, all right. He's like, dude, you're punk rock, dude. Like, I don't know why you're not listening to punk rock. You're the most punk guy ever.
It's because he was telling you to listen to it. So you're all, fuck you, I'm not listening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
What was he playing?
I think, like my neighbor came over with the Voodoo Glow Skulls, Who Is This Is album. And I was just like fucking blown away. That was it for me. I was like, this is it. This is the music for sure, you know? It's just something clicked. It was like, I'm like, these guys live in Riverside. Like, this is a couple cities over.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Like, and they're that good. They have like horns and like, what is this? You know? And then it just went from there.
So you just went through a whole punk rock cycle, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Voodoo.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, basically, I from Voodoo, I just went. I mean, I've always listened to like the Ramones and like the Clash. You know, like just growing up, you just know who that is, but you don't really they didn't really associate that with punk rock, you know.
Yeah. Do you
And
remember?
then after hearing Voodoo, and then I'm like, okay, I need more, you know. And then my friends are like, oh yeah, we can go to the show, and
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but it's gonna be expensive. And they're like, no, it's like $5. And they're like, oh shit, this is something I could do, and like this is something like I could be a part of, and this music, they're actually like talking to me, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about punk rock is it just speaks to fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Misfits, rebels, the outcasts,
Geeks.
nerds.
Do you like how I chimed in with geek?
Oh, we got geeks over here.
You're like twice.
Life. What was the first punk rock show you went to?
My friend, it wasn't really punk rock. It was the Aquabats. And it was at the barn, and they played with like the Tantra Monsters. And I was like, okay, this is fucking rad. And then I think after that we saw No Effects. It was like No Effects, Blink 182 opened for like No Effects and the Vandals at the Palladium. This was like when Blink was like nobody. I mean, we had seen Blink play like backyard shows and shit. I had seen that before, you know. I'd seen them play like backyard shows and coffee shops.
Crazy.
Really?
Damn. Up for, like, the Vandals, and then like Blink 182 played the whole show naked, and we were like, dude, we like kind of know these guys, you know. And then after that, I was like, I became like the biggest Vandals fan on the planet. I had to go see them like every show they played. So like every show in California from like 95 on was like, that was it for me.
That's awesome. I think my first show was the Donnas. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, once
the
I
Donnas?
saw. Yeah, the Donnas, dude.
Oh hell yeah! Me and my friend wanted to like go on the road and become like groupies, like man groupies for them.
Hell.
No gender stereotyping, you know. There's man groupies. I love it. Is it man groupies? I don't know the man group. I don't know.
I like to refer to it as regional representative.
Fucking A.
But no, I saw the Donnas and that was it for me. I was like, fuck yeah. Their guitar player, so badass.
They were good. They were really good. I really liked the Donnas a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So, do you have any what's your funniest awkward photography show moment?
Man. I don't know if I've had it. Like,
damn. Because
everything's
now it is really just me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like nothing really crazy's like happened.
Okay.
I have to like stop and think about that one.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Maybe if you ask me a couple more questions, and then maybe I'll just put that on the back.
Well, I'll tell you mine. It was actually on that tour that we were all at. And the Glamscapes were playing at the Viper Room. I'm just totally geeking out because I'd never been there. And I have to say, I mean, Phoenix is a bigger town, but when you go to Hollywood, you feel very small town, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And I was just, you know, stars in my eyes, totally stoked. And they were just killing it. And the bass player and guitarist went down into the crowd to, you know, do their thing with everyone. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to jump on the side stairs and take some photos into the crowd. Don't shake your head like you saw it and knew, because that would suck. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden I'm like photographing it into it, not realizing that they're trying to come up.
Oh, to get back up.
And I'm a voluptuous lady, and I'm sitting here trying to move, and then I awkwardly like bend over or something like forward so they can scoop behind me, and I'm just like, oh my god, no way are they gonna share my photos. I'm that asshole. And I couldn't just blend in because I'd been on like 3 of the tour dates too, so I'm like, fuck me.
And that's a really hard spot to get up to on that stage. It's very small.
Yeah,
you know what? Actually,
Billy saw
I
it.
can totally think of a moment, and it was like soul crushing. So like I did the Interrupters album cover or whatever.
No big deal.
It's
cash.
The video for that, and so I asked them if I could come, like be a part of it, and they're like, yeah, show up. So I was like, all right, cool. So I was like, I'm gonna get there early just to make sure that like there's not enough people and I don't get to be in it, right? So I bring my camera and shit, and I'm like, fuck it, like I'll take some photos while I'm there. And sure enough, Tim Armstrong and Matt Freeman walk up. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, this is so cool, you know? And I'm just like, and Tim directed that video, too. And then, so they walk up, and I'm like, hey, can I get a photo of you guys? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I get a photo of everybody, you know? And then, so that's cool. And then, so I noticed Matt's driving this really fucking cool car. And I'm like, hey, dude, like, and it's the car in the video, too. It's like that blue, old school.
Right.
And so I say, hey, Lars, can I get a photo of you in front of your car? And he like looked at me like, what the, like, are you fucking with me? You know? And I was like, I had no idea what I was saying because I'm so like, just trying to like
maintain the cool
I try
vibe.
to be cool, and then I'm like, can I get a photo? And he's kind of intimidating. I don't know if you ever met Matt Freeman, but he's super quiet and just like very kind of stoic, you know? So, and then so I'm like, I get him by the car. I'm like, all right, yeah, can I get one more? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, all right, thanks, Lars. And I said it again. Yeah, dude. And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like, I have no idea. And so like and then he's like, all right, you got enough. And then he walked away. And I was like, oh shit, man. Like, that's why I was nervous. Cause he's kind of fucking, he's kind of short, you know, like with people or whatever. and then I'm like, wait a minute. I think I just call him Lars. And so I go and like talk to my wife. I'm like, I think I just called him Lars. And she's like trying to reassure me. She's like, no, I think you're good. Like, you're good. You there's no way you call him Lars. Like, you know.
That's good wifing right there. That's good wifing. She probably heard you, but still was like, you're fine.
No, okay, so then like 2 seconds later, this girl walks up and she's like, hey, are you that guy who just called Matt Lars? And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, it was the worst. And I didn't see him for like the rest of the day too to like explain or anything.
Oh man.
That was the worst by far. I don't like other than that I haven't really had any one of those moments.
Billy, I really appreciate you opening up to me on that. That
one was brutal. Like, and I haven't seen him to this day to where I could like be like,
hey dude, I know your name. I know
Wrong
it's
that
Matt.
right.
Yeah.
Wrong that right.
Well, you'll see him in next month, won't you? So maybe you can explain.
Yeah. At the Back to the Beach or at Scallywag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, hey, what's up, Tim? And then be like, fuck this guy. Yeah.
He's dead to me.
There's a couple other like funny shit that's happened, like Stefan from the Descendants. I've met him a couple times, and like I never take selfies with people. Like, I never do. Like, I always like, if I get their photo, that's kind of like me being like, that's my photo with him, you know? But I was like, fuck it, man. Like, this is the Descendants, dude. So I got the photo, or I took a photo, and I was like, oh, it's good, you know? Like, I don't have to look at it. Completely fucking blurry.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell who both of us are, kind of, you know? But so that happened the first time I met him at Music, like way back when they played it. And then I saw him again at another show. And it was Punk Rock Bowling. And they did the Filmage, where they played the movie Filmage, their documentary. And like, I got to meet him, and I told him the whole story of how it was blurry. And then I was like, can I get another one? Can I like, you know, like,
Redeem myself.
Yeah, redeem myself. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Nicest guy in the world. So then I set my camera down, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it on auto and then just take it. And then some guy was like, hey, man, you want me to take your photo? I was like, no, I got this shit. I got it. Did it. Blurry as shit. I didn't get a chance to look at it because we were talking, and I didn't want to like not. And then I had just met like Chris Sherry and like me and like the Descendants artist, and like then me and him started talking, so I never got a chance to look at it. And then so I go back and look at it, and I'm like, twice.
Maybe he's a vampire and it's just not working out. I don't know. But you know, that brings a great point, because if it's overexposed a little bit, underexposed, I mean, that's that's easily correctable. It may not be the jam that you want, but if it's blurry, it's like, fuck, man.
Dude, I think it could be a thing now. Like every time you meet him, you could be like, "Hey, let's do a selfie, but make sure it's blurry," and then you can just do this like collage of blurry pictures.
The third time I met him, I was like, "Hey, dude," and then I explained the whole thing, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you." I was like, I was like, it was blurry the second time, and then he's like, "No way," and I was like, now we have to take blurry photos every time. So
exactly. You got to coin that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to be called blurry. That's it. You're blurry.
Blurry Skelly.
Oh, I just have so many questions to ask you, but let's talk a little bit about gear for any of those photographic gearheads out there.
I mean, I like to talk about Sony a lot. Like that's because this is what I use, but I mean, use whatever you use. Like if you like Canon, some people are going to like Canon better. Some people are going to like Nikon better. Some people are going to like film better. Some people are like digital better. Like I say, just use whatever the fuck you want to use. But I mean, Sony is like, for me, it's like really good because you could use old lenses. You just buy like a cheap adapter, and I could use lenses from like my old Canon that I had back in the day, you know, like old film cameras. And instead of spending $2,000 on a Sony lens, I could spend $50 on like even better lens that's just older, you know. And you don't have like automatic, you know. I don't shoot automatic anyways, but I shoot everything in manual, so it doesn't matter. And then Sony, like when you use the old lenses, it already focuses it for you. Like when you're looking at through the viewfinder or like even on the back of the camera or whatever, they have like a rack focus that so it's like easy. Like anytime it's in red, like it outlines everything in focus in red, then you just click the fucking button. It's that simple. Like, but I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to tell anyone to use any, you know, like I recommend Sony, but you know, yeah, use whatever you got, dude. Like I can't afford like fucking great lenses and shit, so I try to do whatever's the most affordable, really.
So do you still spend time in the darkroom ever?
No, never. For me, film is there's no way I'm going back. Like
right. Well, it's different with concert photography, you know. I mean, although there are some, you know, concert photographers out there that are still rocking the film, and you know, props to them. Yeah. You know, I attempted it many times, but I mean, I still like doing some of my fine art work. I mean, fine art, that sounds so pretentious. My other stuff outside of shooting bands, I like doing darkroom and stuff. So that's cool.
I think when you talk about fine art, I don't think you're being pretentious. Like,
I feel like such an asshole when I say fine artwork.
I get it.
What are you listening to right now?
Well, I heard that band Starcrawler from that Distiller show, so I've been listening to them a lot lately. But I've been listening to I always listen to Bad Cop like nonstop. They're always like on somewhere. Like my wife and I both have their albums in our car. So like if Bluetooth's not working, it's always Bad Cop, you know, or you know whatever. I listen to Venomous Pinks a lot lately. It's like this whole year I've been listening to Venomous.
Those guys are assholes. I'm just kidding. I love them. I love them. Hey. I like how she right away said, "Hey," like I'm serious.
Hey.
Like Last Gang, I listen to a lot. Red City Radio, I listen to a lot. Off With Their Heads. Bad Religion, Strung Out, No Effects. Those are pretty much like all my wheelhouse stuff.
Let's do a music break. Why don't we have you pick a song that you're really feeling right now?
Okay. Well, let's do Starcrawler. Let's do the song called Ants.
All right, that's it. Starcrawler. This one's called Ants on the Sound Sister Podcast.
I got ants in my home, I got ants in my bones. I got ants when I'm eating, I got ants when I'm dreaming. Got ants when I don't, I got ants when I won't. Got ants on the
And we're back. Welcome back, guys. We're here with Billy Skelly. Let's talk a little bit about health. I think you posted maybe that you were lifting or eating better.
Yeah,
What's going on, man?
I took after I took that little hiatus on Facebook, I I was like, man, I gotta just get healthy, you know, like I want to start getting way healthier, and so I started doing like intermittent fasting. I went first. I went to the doctor, found out what I should be doing and all that stuff, and like what could be wrong or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So I did that. He recommended that I do like the Greek diet, which is just eating like basically a lot of Greek foods like olives and avocados and like stuff like that, and salads and shit. It's actually like a dietary thing, the Greek diet, and it's pretty good. I haven't really followed it that great, but I started doing like intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
And like just working out a lot, and then but like we just bought a new house, so I haven't been able to do I'm like, fuck it, we're canceling our gym. Like we just made like a whole room in our house like a gym, so now it's like working out every day, so it's awesome.
That's the way to do it. I mean, that's what Gabby does.
Yeah.
Getting swole.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Gabby's working out too, man. I was like, dude, we're gonna be doing this at the same time, dude. We're gonna look buff together next time I'm in Arizona.
Well, I'll be in San Diego next month, so we'll fucking do some push-ups.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fucking squats on the side of the...
Yeah.
Let's do it, bro. Yeah.
We'll bro out next month.
Nah, man. Good for you, man. Sometimes you just gotta grab control and take control of that shit. I know all about it, so
yeah.
I'm on the paleo diet. My doctor has me on that, which is basically nothing good.
Come on.
No fast food, no bread, no beans, nothing like that.
Meat's good.
Just meat and vegetables, but
Okay.
it's been working out pretty well, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I think whatever works for you, you know, like some people do better on other diets, and I don't know, man. It's hard. Like for me, I can't, like if they told me to cut out bread, I'd be like, yeah. You're fucking hilarious. Like there's no way. Like there's some, like I'm just not gonna cut out some foods, you know. Like I like to live my life, you know, and then you gotta find a balance.
I think, well, being Mexican, it's been hard to cut out tortillas and like burritos and stuff.
Yeah, I cut off bread, but I kept the tortillas.
Yeah.
So it's, you know.
Not one episode where we don't mention a burrito.
The main theme the whole time is burritos.
Yeah. We said burrito. We're good.
So I want to talk to you about any influences that you have. Like, who are some of your favorite photographers of the past?
Man, I have so many. It's I find like inspiration. I mean, even with shitty photographers, you know, like they inspire me more to go out and do better stuff. Like even just like I was saying, like all those YouTube photographers.
I'm sitting right here, Billy. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, but like the YouTube photographers, they just get on my nerves, dude. Like I always, you know, do you want to like go like learn a couple things or whatever, you know, like, oh, I wonder if this flash is good or this lens is good, and then you go check out YouTube, and then you're like, then you go down that wormhole of just like these shitty YouTube photographers just talking out of their ass, like, and all it is like some lame ass dude that could never like talk to a model in their life. And that's what they're doing, is they're just like using their camera to talk to models and like shooting them. Like it's just fucking, I don't know, that inspires me to like want to go out and not do that and like just become like a good photographer, like all around, you know. But like, I mean, I like man, I cannot think of her name. My favorite is the Rolling Stone photographer,
Annie Leibovitz.
Yes, Annie Leibovitz. She's like the greatest.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Earlier we were talking about Penny Smith.
Okay.
She was rad back in the day.
Yeah,
a lot of traveling photography.
Too. But I mean, like Annie Leibovitz, man, like she went out with the Rolling Stones and then like became a heroin addict because she was doing heroin with the Rolling Stones on tour. Like I was like, that's fucking crazy, man. That's taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she does I personally like fashion photography too, even though I'm anti-fashion, but I mean, it's a different art form, you know? And she does a lot of that too, a lot of fantasy things, a lot of just conceptual avant-garde photography, which I really, really enjoy as well. So she does all around badass.
I agree. Yeah, I think she's getting a little pretentious though.
Agreed.
She doesn't even like own a camera. I heard like she just goes and like whatever shoot they're on, they just bring her a camera. Like
if you listen closely, my heart just broke. That's fucked up.
Right? Like I heard a lot of like famous photographers just do that. They like get rid of their cameras and they're just like on set. They just rent a camera or whatever, or like whatever camera like company they're represented by will bring them. Like for her, it's a Leica or what is that fucking? What's that? God, I can't even think right now. That badass camera.
Like large format?
Yeah, large format. She uses like digital large format too.
Yeah. She has to with like some of the details in those bigger
the
defined shots.
Like she uses like Hasselblad. Like she'll have like a digital like fucking it's just nuts.
Fucking fuck. Right.
And she just own it, and it's like they just bring it to her and she's just like, I don't know, that's kind of pretentious to me.
And then she's like, here team, edit everything, and everything's gonna be Photoshop.
Exactly. She doesn't even edit her own work, man. That's fucking no, there's no way I would let someone touch my shit.
I know. I'm with you, dude. Unless it's like a collaborative effort, then you do it together. I mean, it even irritates me when I give photos to another band or person and they put a filter over it. It's like, okay, I get it if you want this black and white or if you want it extra saturated, cool, just ask me and I'll fucking do it. Don't do it yourself.
You're like, I did all that work editing it, but that's cool. Instagram filter you threw on there.
Yeah. Real original, bro.
So don't do that to your picture.
Sorry, guys. They totally did that to me. The truth comes out.
So what you're saying is,
no, I think every band has done it to me too.
Yeah, I mean, it just happens, and I get it because it's hard. There's some people that are like, oh my gosh, like I don't know, my teeth look yellow in this or this, you know. There's different things that they're self-conscious about. So by adding the filters, it makes it look different, but. Any Hooskers, awkward. Do you have a day job or anything, or are you just 100%?
Yeah, I drive for Lyft. Like if I need money, I'll just drive Lyft. That shit's great, man. Like you make like $20 to $50 an hour, and all you do is just drive around and meet people and then drop them off. Like
if I had a new car, amazing. I would do it.
And I don't work well with people. Like, I'm not good working with people at all. Like, even my wife that I love, like, more than anything, like, we're working on shit, like, in our house, and I'm just like, I just can't do it. Like, I can't. Like, I don't like explaining things to other people. And then when I have to, then I get, like, fucking irritated, and I'm just like,
This sounds nothing like an artist at all.
Yeah,
no, I hear you.
How can you not read my mind right now? How do you not know what I'm thinking? Like,
do you need me to take a picture?
So is there any certain like photographers or bands or artists that we should watch out for? Any up and coming newcomers?
Well, there's that Angela Rose Red chick. She's dope.
Oh shit. I just sorry, I'm like geeking out over here. It's only because it's my.
You made like a Muppet noise just
now. I got so much to learn.
Friends that I work with that I like. Jason Cook, that dude's badass. Sean McCracken, those guys are really good. Sean McCracken, though, I don't know, man.
He's got a Kraken.
He steals the way I shoot. So like, he's really good at like he could like figure out how someone else shoots, and then he'll shoot just like it. But he has his own style and shit. He does some really cool shit, like where I just like will hold my camera straight as possible. Like he'll like go like quarter ways and fill the frame up like completely different than I would have ever thought. But then he'll steal my style like on top of that, and I'm just like, oh, you motherfucker. And then of course Josh Kaufman, who I've been following forever, he's done like all the Sublime photos, and he does like a lot of like fisheye stuff now that I think is really fucking cool. Like like where normally you wouldn't ever use a fisheye. Like he shoots some models, like he does like nude model stuff like with fisheye, and it's because he's trying to do something different, you know. He's like trying to capture the whole scene and not just focus on like one entity of the thing. And it's just like he's the one who got me into photography too. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, whatever you do, man, it's fucking cool. You know?
Yeah, we got to work with him actually. We played punk rock bowling, and they were like, "Hey, you're gonna go shoot a picture with Josh Kaufman." And we're like, "What?" Okay. So yeah, he was cool. I liked working with him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. He's fucking funny too, and his wife is really fucking cool. We were actually me, him, and Sean McCracken were doing like supposed to work on a magazine together, and that's how I started 99%. Is like we started doing this one called Up to 11, and we were just gonna go shoot concerts and then make magazines out of them. And then, like I said, I'm not good at working with people. And I was like, he was like, yeah, I want to use this one graphic designer. He's gonna make our logo. And I was like, nah, I don't like that guy. And he's like, well, we're gonna use him. So it's like, and I was like, okay, well then I'm just gonna make my own magazine then. And he was like, well, fuck, I didn't mean that, you know. He's like, so that kind of, he's still doing Up to 11 though, I think. So.
I have to say, for someone who loves print, thank you so much for keeping print alive. I mean, that it needs to be out there, and we're such a digitized world. As much as I love digital photography and the instant platform that it comes from, we need more things in this world that's tangible, and we need things that are left behind. And so you're definitely an advocate for that, and it's amazing, and your work speaks for itself. So
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to make something to where like if I'm gonna do a magazine and put someone on a cover of a magazine, like I want them to be able to have that. You know, be like, oh shit, look, here's me on the cover of a magazine. You know, like it's just, I think it's I don't know.
It's essentially like this is a punk rock yearbook, you know. Yeah. When I'm 60, 65, I can go back to this and be like, man, this was fucking rad.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
I was cool once.
And I could say, wow, there I am with a bunch of cool people. Yeah, I'm really glad that you divulged your story behind, you know, the birth of 99% magazine.
Yeah.
How long have you been in circulation for those who aren't familiar with?
Since last April, so it's been a little bit over a year. And I think that was the sixth one that came out, I believe.
That's great. And you do kind of like a magazine on demand type deal, right? Like
I work through like this company called Blurb, and then you just like basically make your PDF and then send it to them, and then they print it out and do all that. So they kind of fucked up a couple of the magazines already, and I'm thinking about doing something different, but we'll see.
When's the next one come out?
I'm not sure. I'm working on it right now. So that's why I'm going to Scallywag, because I think it's going to be the whole thing might just be all interrupters. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to do interrupters with a couple people in there. I'd like to mix other people in there too, because like, I'll have friends that I feel like they need notoriety, and if I can put them in with the interrupters, I know what that's gonna do for them. You know,
I'll be there. Just interrupters and Gabby.
No, I mean you're using your medium for what it is to help support and lift other people up instead of tearing people down. So again, you're one of those people amongst a bunch of individuals that are competing. I like to think that you're one of the few like me who are trying to build a community, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's kind of why I got off Facebook too. I just felt like the community, like, I don't know, man. I had a couple friends that just kind of shit on me, and I was like, really? Like, fuck. I'm trying to do something good, you know? Like, I'm trying to do something. And it happened also when I put out my 2 books a couple years back. Like, I got face-to-face, like I was in the face-to-face fan group on Facebook, and I was like, you know what'll be dope is if I could get Scott Shiflett to like do a little video, like maybe that'll like get them excited about the book. Like, and I was like, I'm not trying to get Scott Shiflett to like promote my book. I wasn't like thinking about that, you know. I wasn't like, oh, me. I was like, I think they will think it's cool, like, and that'll be a cool thing for them, and like it'll just like enhance our community, blah blah blah. And then it just like totally backfired, and they were like, oh, you got Scott Shiflett, and like you're just trying to sell your fucking book, and like fuck you.
Which, by the way, if you did just want to sell your book, what the fuck is wrong with that? I mean,
that's
it
what
costs,
a lot of people said too. Like,
yeah, it costs money to go to the. I think a lot of people forget in the industry that as photographers, memory cards. I'm one of those weird hoarders that doesn't like to erase on top of my memory cards all the time.
Oh, no.
I know I shouldn't. But I mean, but memory cards cost a lot, batteries cost a lot, lenses, obviously, time, energy. I spend a monthly bill on Photoshop, gas. People forget that it costs a lot for what we do, and we're constantly, and we do it for the love of it. And you're putting something out there. I mean, why shouldn't you try to? I mean, musicians promote their shit so people can buy their albums, their merch, their fucking concert sales. Why can't we?
I know.
Damn the man.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I'm like, hey, man.
I get so pissed, man, dude. If I would have saw that post, I would have had your back. Like, what the hell? Ooh. And I mean, I do believe your intentions were real.
Go find it.
I mean, I will. I'm gonna start a campaign again, and he's not even on Facebook.
Well, that's why I was making my book in the first place, is so I could keep it affordable for people. Like, if I just put it on Blurb, like, fuck, dude, the magazine is like $16. Like, I don't even want people to pay $16 for the magazine. I get $1 for everyone. Like, I could put like whatever price I want. Every one of them I get 99 cents off of each one. And I like that's like, so I can keep it affordable for everybody, you know? And that's what I was trying to do, is like raise the money so I can make the book myself and then sell it for like dirt ass cheap. But so I would have been able to sell for like $32 if I would have raised all the money. That would have been the book, like, all together, like 300 something pages or something like that. And then I couldn't do that. We raised like 10,000 out of the 20 grand that we needed. So like we got halfway there, and I was like, I couldn't believe that shit. I was like shocked. I was like, we're not gonna make it past like 5 grand or whatever. But we made it that far.
You do a lot for musicians. You do a lot for the community. I mean, it comes back to those people that have pure intention. So.
Yeah, I think if I wanted to do it again, I didn't really have a great plan the first time. Like, just like, I was like, oh shit, like in the middle of the Kickstarter, I was like, maybe I could get Scott Shiflett to like make the day of these like face-to-face fans, you know? And it just totally backfired. And then I got like Stacey D helped me out, like a bunch of other like artists like totally helped me out, made videos for me. But I didn't think about that before I did it, you know? That was like halfway through the Kickstarter. I was like, oh, maybe I could do that. And like, maybe they could help me out and like help them out. And I don't know. Totally backfired.
Well, you're back full circle, because this issue is killer, and I can't wait to see what you got cooking for the next one. Any other projects in the works?
Yeah, I have a lot of things are coming. Like I was actually thinking about doing a podcast. I was thinking about doing like some interview kind of stuff, maybe even a couple shows, like kind of like Live from the Rock Room or Punks in Vegas. Now that I have a photo studio in my house, I could do that. And then we're actually adding like a fire pit in the backyard. And I want to do like a acoustic, like have bands just come over and do an acoustic show in the backyard, like in the fire pit, you know? And then just like video the hell out of that and like make it as like good as like possible. And so I'm starting to like, I have a couple things in the works that I maybe like another book or two coming out. So
I mean, that's a dream as a photographer, to have a book. So good for you. Yeah. I know Gabby, that's one thing that she's been working on too with the Sound Sisters, is trying to do like more acoustic recording and everything. Mm-hmm. Maybe when you get up and running, we could do some like Skyping, acoustic, I don't know, like a set in Arizona, and then somebody plays something at your place.
We're just going to crash it.
That would be so cool.
Crash your house.
Basically, come to Arizona so we can Arizona it up.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to come interview all of you guys, and then we definitely got to go, like, I want to interview you guys in Arizona. while we're just driving through.
It's
Let's
happening.
do it.
That'd be rad.
Yeah, I think that'd be rad. Like do that and then like go to the show after and like, you know, like well hopefully there would be a show involved or something like that. So
Cool. Right on.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
I'll talk
yeah,
to some peeps.
that would be
Talk-
so cool. Maybe we'll bring like Last Gang out there. Go party it up.
Awesome. Well, we're getting ready to wrap it up here. I could seriously talk to you for about another hour and a half, dude.
I'm a talker, so
I love it. Me too. Me too. Who would have thought the people that are behind cameras all the time could talk their asses off? But we want to end an episode with a song that defines you as a photographer. Boom!
well, there goes Huey Lewis. I guess he's out of that mix.
I fucking love Huey Lewis, though,
Huey Lewis
man.
he's the jam. Let's go with Flatliners. Count Your Bruises. I think that would fit pretty well.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you again for coming to talk with us. Coming to your computer.
I was like, I was down to drive out there. I was like, fuck
You
it.
should have, buddy. You should have done it. It would have been awesome.
I really appreciate everything.
Just real quick before we go, let the people know where they can find your stuff.
Oh yeah, you can find anything I do at www.99percentmagazine.com, and it's all spelled out. Well, 99, the numbers, and then percentmagazine.com.
You have to really give that extra direction because people would be very confused.
Well, I've had a lot of people spell spell out 99, and I'm like, no, it's just the numbers.
Just numbers, man.
Just numbers. Make it difficult.
All right. Well, thank you, Billy Skelly. That was
Well, I
awesome.
appreciate it.
Give it up for Billy, you guys.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh, Billy.
Yeah.